Hi and welcome to this video. It's a little bit different from normal and I apologise, there's no glass painting at all. This is in response to quite a few emails I get and questions online about how I make my videos. Now, I'm no brilliant video maker, but I have learned what I need to do to produce my videos, and I thought I'd share that with you. I'm actually going to split it into three sections, or three separate videos I should say. This first one is going to be about the equipment I use. Don't worry, I'm not rich. I've done this all on an absolute tight budget, so I'm not going to be saying to go and buy £1,000 or $1,000 cameras or anything daft like that. This is all on a budget. In the second video we'll look at recording and the contents of videos. And in the third one, I'll look at the editing software and uploading, etc. if you want to put it on something like YouTube. Okay, so in this first one, we're going to look at the equipment I use. This is a little bit weird because this gets very complicated. I've actually got 5 different recording things going on at the moment, but normally I use 3. And that's 2 cameras and the microphone. So let's start with the cameras. Now I've turned some lights off because it was problematic with the recording. But let's have a look at the cameras. Now hopefully you can see there's my table, and up here is my main camera. This is the one which actually, this one here, takes the picture of the table. That's a really important one. You're doing crafts or stuff like that, and people need to be able to see exactly what you're doing. Now, both the cameras are just set. I leave them. Any zooming in is done in the software later. I'm not messing around while I'm trying to demonstrate. So the cameras are just set. So that's the camera which takes the picture of the table. And over there on the windowsill, I hope you can see the one which takes the picture of my face. This could get very complicated. There you are. See, I'm now taking a picture of the camera, taking a picture of my face. Okay, so the one which is on the table, I just set it up. I've got a piece of software on there called Open Camera. Good piece of software, absolutely free. It's an old phone. I keep on calling them cameras. They are both old phones. This one up on the tripod is actually my son's old phone. It's a Pixel 2. The screen's actually cracked. He got himself a new phone. Cracked screen doesn't bother me. Doesn't interfere with what I'm doing. The important thing is it's capable of taking HD video. And the same with the one over on the shelf there. That's actually my old camera. It's a Note 3, Samsung Galaxy Note 3. Nothing wrong with it, but it's about 5 years old, and I did replace it with the one I'm moving around now. So that's 2 old cameras. Now there is a problem with this one over there. The one which is on the table, fine, I can focus it. Set it up and just hit record when I'm ready. Now the one in the window over there, it needs to focus on me because it's taking a picture on me. Now obviously I can't go over, it's only me doing this, and I can't go over there and focus it and on me here, because I would be over there and not over here. Very complicated, I know. So for that camera over there, I've actually got a piece of software on my computer. Now let's we flick over to the computer for a minute. Ignore this one down here, I'll take that away. What we're looking at is this piece of software here, and it's made by Samsung, and it's called SideSync. And it enables you to have your phone screen and control it on your computer. So that means I can sit here like this and just glance at the screen and set my focus like that. And I can also turn it on and off. I could zoom in, but I don't, because as I say, I just keep the cameras set and do any zooming in the editing. So that camera over on the windowsill is controlled via the computer on my right. And I found that really useful. It took me a while to work that out. But it's called Side Sync. I know if you've got using an iOS camera, they have an equivalent as well. And there are some other programs. But Side Sync is free. If you've got a Samsung phone, you can download it. And then sometimes I have my laptop by me and put it on that. And sometimes I keep it on this screen on my right. So that's the two cameras. They just stay there the whole time. And I say any zooming in, etc. is done in the edit. Right, let's move that one out of the way slightly. So that's got my computer on my right. And I'm now back to filming through the camera on the windowsill. Now the next thing is the microphone. I invested in a lapel mic. It gives me much better sound quality than off any of the cameras where it seems to change depending on where I'm looking, etc, etc. The lapel mic picks it all up, and again I record it on the computer. So the lapel mic has a cable coming out, that's the on-off box, and the cable comes out, goes into the computer, and that's this program here. Let me just bring it in. There you are, and you can see it's busy recording as I'm speaking. So I'll have a separate audio recording. I have also got, I mean, obviously all the cameras are recording audio as well, but this is the nicest, the clearest, and that's the one I will use. Now I have 3 lights in the room. I've actually only got one on at the moment because I realised that waving a camera around meant it was kept on picking up my 2 side lights. So I've actually switched 2 of them off. They are only ordinary lights. They are a desk light there, a desk light there, and if we look up, and this one is still on, so I'll apologise, that is my overhead light. Now you'll notice, sorry, this is looking a bit weird, you'll notice that has got a piece of kitchen towel stuck across it. That's to diffuse the light, because quite often I'm working on glass down on the desk, and if I'm working on glass and I've got a light right above, you get a real glare. So I put a piece of kitchen towel over that, the light still comes through, but it gets diffused. Now here's the really important thing, and I didn't know this for ages, and my lighting was really awful. It's still not great, but it's a lot better than it was. Best thing ever, use the same type of bulb in each light. If you start mixing the bulbs, it confuses the camera. You have different types of light. You don't really always see it with the naked eye, but the camera picks it up. Use the same type of bulb in every light you have in the room on when you're recording. Now I use these, they're LEDs and they're daylight LEDs. I've got the same type of light coming from each lamp, and that makes it easier to work with. Okay, so LED, because I like to keep the power consumption down, and daylight, and it's the same in each one. You can get these in both bayonet and screw fix, so it doesn't matter what type of lamp you've got. But I say I have 3. I've got the above, I've got one which is very much down on the table, and one which is very much on me, and that's my 3 lights. So that's the equipment I've used. As you can tell, I've spent very, very little money. I did already have one tripod, and I had to buy another one. but they're only cheap off Amazon. I bought my 3 bulbs, the 2 cameras, the 2 old phones. They were old phones, they were lying around, I used them. If not, you can pick up a second-hand one. Just make sure it's got a reasonable lens. Most of the Samsungs do. Obviously the iPhone things do. Make sure it's got a reasonable lens and make sure it can record in HD. HD is the minimum now. I know it's going up to 4K, but I'm sticking with HD for reasons I'll talk about in the 3rd video on editing. So I bought some holders for the phones. I bought 1 tripod. I already had 1 tripod, and the software I've been using is all free software. Samsung Sync, so I can see, or whatever it's called, side sync, sorry, so I can see my window camera, and the audio recording one, which is called Audacity, and that is absolutely free. I'll give you the links. The lapel mic I had to buy. It was a little bit of investment. Let's see, that's £15. I don't know sure what that is in other currencies, but it was worth it. I went through quite a lot of microphones. I didn't really want one on the desk, although I did try it and tried to keep it out of sight. I went through, I bought 3 or 4 and none of them worked properly. This one is great. I really do recommend it. It's worth the investment. People need to hear what you're saying when you're giving instructions. They need to hear clearly what you're saying. So it's worth the investment, I think. It was only £15, which isn't a huge amount of money, and I did a lot of research before I ended up with this microphone. One tip, don't forget to switch it off when you're not using it. Saves battery. Right, that's the end of the first video. Sorry if it was a little bit boring. In the next video we'll look at content. Getting your videos right can make all the difference. I cringe slightly when I see my earlier videos. Let's have a look. Got a design, put it underneath some acetate, and I've piped it. Here you can see I've got some designs left to do. So let's start the first one. Now, although it's called painting, you want to forget the normal type of painting and think all the time flood filling. So I'm going to hold the bottle of paint very close to the work. I'm going to move the paint over onto the piece. But it was what I could do at the time, and I say to get to the stage I'm at now, whilst it's not brilliant, I think you can clearly see what I'm doing, you can clearly hear what I'm saying, and I certainly got a lot better response since I sort of upgraded what I do with the videos. Okay, hopefully we'll have the second video out shortly. Happy crafting! And then just move it around so it gets right up to the edge. If you don't get to the edge, it won't look much of a problem now, but as soon as you move the piece up to the light, you'll see a huge gap.